Nurturing Our Roots. This is your host, Antoinette Harrell, and my co-host, Karen Royal. We have a very exciting show this morning. I would like to allow my guests to introduce themselves and tell you something about themselves. Good morning.
Good morning. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be here.
Well, thank you for being here today, both of you.
I am Donna Fanauld. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we are sponsoring a family history conference in Baton Rouge, and I am over the registration part of it. And I am also the Director of Public Affairs in our church group. So,
Welcome. Welcome.
My name is Colin Tyler. I'm also part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I recently returned back from a 2-year mission trip from Boise, Idaho, and Idaho Falls. And I'm a big part of family history. I'll also be in the conference that we do for family history, talking about it. And I'm just glad to be here. Appreciate you guys for having us.
Well, thank you. And we understand that this conference is coming up this Saturday.
Saturday from 8 till, it's supposed to end at 1:45. At 1:45, we're actually going to have our door prize drawings, and they're astronomical. They're wonderful gifts. It's at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at 10335 Highland Road in Baton Rouge.
Wonderful. We understand there's a PowerPoint presentation that you put together for us, and we really would like to have that pulled up. So let's talk about it.
Okay.
This is the cover of your website.
It is. It's absolutely wonderful. If we just find one of our ancestors, I love the fact that the one little girl stands out, and she's part of a big picture there.
Right.
And that's what family history is all about, finding and linking our families and roots. That's the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
It starts at 8 o'clock. Registration is from 8 to 9. And then we will have an opening exercise from 9 to 10, or 9 to 9:45. At 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 1 o'clock our class sessions begin.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 1:45 we will all meet and have our door prize drawings, and then the conference will be over.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the classes? I know I'll be teaching African American genealogy research to beginners, and my second hour will be about peonage and sharecropping.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, too. You have just been amazing. We're grateful that you are being a teacher and for the insight that you will bring on the African American
You're quite
research. We have beginner classes, Family Search, Ancestry.com. I'm going to let Colin and another lady tell you about the classes that they're teaching. We have Breaking Down Brick Walls, U.S. Census Records. We have a recording booth. If you have a story that you want to tell about your own family, we're going to have a recording booth set up, and then you can, they'll show you how to add that to your family history. We're going to have a photographer there that you can take family portraits, and then you'll be given a link to where you can get in and get your own portrait, print it. Let's see. How we use the Goodwood Library, their genealogy records.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many. We have over 25 classes.
Oh, that's a lot of classes.
Yes.
Who would you suggest who should come to this?
Everybody is coming. Everyone is invited. It is free. We have a full children's program from ages 18 months to 11 years old that they will be taught some interesting facts about how to gather information about their ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be taught some of the games that were probably played during their ancestors' time. Then while that's going on, we'll be rotating from class to class. It is free. You can register online at BatonRougeFamilyHistoryConference.com. Just click the link and it'll take you to the registration site, your name, email address, and phone number, and you choose which classes you want to take.
That is wonderful. That brings to mind when my granddaughter was 3, I created and published a child's coloring book, activity book. And that coloring book, now my grandchildren have learned so much about their ancestors through the coloring book. And so we had a lot of activities, crossword puzzles. I'm going to the state archives today and just looking for my ancestors.
We'll have a lot of that going on in the children's program too.
That's
I
wonderful.
thought of that after I met you. I said, I wished I'd have known you before now, because I think that would be a wonderful asset to our conference to be able to make that available to the children there.
And you know, children learn about history as well as learn about their family.
Oh, definitely.
You know, and we travel through the 64 parishes, and that's how the children get to learn the importance of traveling and reading maps, and it's so much that they learn without even knowing they're learning history through their own
Because your
history.
family history is history.
It's history, that's
Your
right.
family is a part of history. Our
Exactly.
families are a part of history.
I agree. I think as we seek out our ancestors, we are creating our life story. And what a legacy to pass on to the next generation and the next.
Absolutely.
Family history is not just for old or elderly people. I
can attest to that.
You know, it begins very young, and it's very exciting. So we look forward to it.
I think that's a great segue into college.
Yeah.
In the conference, I'll be talking about what's called the BYU Tech Lab. And it's actually a website that you can go to, and you can play certain games to learn about your family history. And I really enjoy this because, you know, if you're reading a book, that's one thing for me, but I'm more of a visual learner and getting into it. So when it comes to video games and things like that, I think it's more interactive for the children. So to be able to target people my age into doing family history, it's a big thing. One of my favorite games out of the two that I'd like to talk about a little bit more, and we'll talk about in my conference, is Wheel of Fortune and Genealogy. And it's two great games. One of them's more like Jeopardy, and another is like Wheel of Fortune. And it's super cool that you know, you can use those games to learn more about your family.
Amazing.
Well, you know, Colin, that brings a good thing. My son is into gaming, and we were just talking the other day about how can he create a video game that includes genealogy. So I'm glad to hear that. You're getting there.
Definitely. Yeah, it's come a long way from technology, and how we're able to learn more about our families and get more in tune with not just our living family, but the deceased as
That's
well.
right.
Yes.
Because they are there. You know, it just reminds me that they're in the shadows all the time and basically guiding you.
Absolutely.
You know, if we don't believe that, it's true. They're
I
guiding
believe
you.
it.
Yeah.
I told somebody I feel like I have their two hands pushing me, like pushing me on my back. You know, they want me to find their stories and tell their stories.
And that's what this conference is all about, connecting people and connecting families. Family is the most important unit anywhere, but especially in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We believe that families are eternal, and that's part of one of the reasons we do genealogy, is connecting our roots and joining our families forever.
And it is amazing how connected we are across the miles and across the years.
Yes, it is.
And we can't stress enough that this conference is free this coming weekend. All a person need to do is go and register. Am I correct?
They don't even, well, we would like for everyone to register online, but if not, just show up at the door. I will be there with people to help me to register at the conference, choose the classes that you would like. We would like for everyone to register for a free Family Search account, and you're going to be learning a lot of information on how to research your family history.
And each class is about 45-minute long.
45 minutes from beginning to end. The teachers that we have are just marvelous, as we can attest, as we have Dr. Antoinette Harrell as one of them.
Well, thank you.
So
Thank you.
tell us a little bit about what you're going to be.
Well, I'm going to be teaching beginners genealogy. I think when I spoke with Roy, he said, look, there's going to be some people that may be more advanced, but you definitely want to start at where do I start? How do I begin? What to look for? Because according to when I started 20 years ago, it has changed so much. And so we're very grateful for the site Family Search and Ancestry as well, because now you can sit in the comfort of your home and do a lot of the basic 5 things that people are looking for. So I'm going to be talking about beginners, but I do want to talk about sharecropping, because a lot of people may not realize there are records outside the Freedmen Bureau for sharecropping if you just know where to look. So I'm really excited.
And I just want to put a plug in for FamilySearch.org, because that was one of the websites that I got started on, because the records, they pop up so easily, and then you can attach them to, you can begin to build the tree there. And since you're going to be teaching that beginning class, I'm assuming you'll have some technology there, but people can start online even before they come with building their tree. And attaching their records and everything. It's just really wonderful. The photographs, it's just really, really wonderful.
We have several classes that will show people how to do just that. And one of them that we're going to, your next guest will be talking about adding photos and
exciting.
documents to Family Search and Legacy Stories.
Yeah.
But we're also going to have, that's going to be, if anyone wants to bring a flash drive and they have some photos and documents that they would like scanned, we'll have someone there who will scan your documents. They will upload it to your little flash drive or download it, whatever the correct terminology is, and hand it back to you before you leave. And you can go home and just add it to your Family Search account.
And you bring up a very good point. It's so important to get those photos out of the photo albums and get them put on a flash drive and then upload it to the web somewhere, because just like today in New Orleans, we're having a little street flooding.
Yes.
Stuff happens, and you lose family photos. So it's so important to get them digitized, and they can get them digitized right there at this conference.
We will also have the family history consultants on site if someone needs a little help doing a little research and figuring out how they need to go about accomplishing what they're working on.
Well, we're excited. And before we go into a break, Collins, is there anything else that you would like to say, especially encouraging young people to come out to this conference?
Well, first off, I think that any young person is going to be intimidated by family history, seeing that maybe it's for people who are of older age, and I think that intimidates them because I think that they're not ready. First of all, it confuses them, and it's something that they don't want to take up their time. Like you mentioned, your son plays video games, and I think that's something that they're really interested in. But I think once they realize and they grow older and they realize the purpose of it, the purpose that we can find those that are deceased and get to know them on a personal level and know your culture and where you're from, and that will build you as a person. And that's what motivated me. Knowing my deceased ancestors builds me as a person so that I can become a better person to those who are alive.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so we're going to go into a break and come back and talk to Jennifer. I'm excited to hear what she has to say about photographs, and I'm going to take that class because I just found a lot of new family, a lot of pictures in not only the family but the community. So let's go into a break and come back to our second half of the show. Our elders by giving them respect and hearing their wisdom. We honor our elders when we say to them, "You have taught us well." We should acknowledge the lifelong contributions they have made to our families, communities, and country. For all they have achieved throughout life and for all they continue to accomplish, we owe our elders our thanks and a heartfelt salute. We can best demonstrate our gratitude and esteem by making sure that our communities are a good place in which older people can participate to the fullest and find the encouragement, acceptance, assistance, and services they need to continue to lead lives of independence and dignity. We owe it to them. Brought to you by Nurturing Our Roots Television and Radio Broadcast. Welcome back to the show. We're excited and thank you for tuning in this morning. We're having a wonderful time talking about genealogy as always. We would like to have our second guest to introduce herself and talk about the importance of preserving those family histories. Good morning.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Ete, and I'm glad to be here with you as well.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
So Jennifer, what are you going to be teaching in your session at the library?
I have two classes
Really?
that I'm teaching,
Uh-huh.
yes. The first is going to be the U.S. Census and how to find names. And I think that's going to be a particularly interesting class because, I think we can agree that there's just something, I think, inside of everybody that pulls us to the past. There's just some kind of connection that pulls us there. And sometimes maybe, I think we've all heard of someone, or maybe we've experienced ourselves some kind of a break in that connection, whether maybe somebody ended up in foster care, or maybe they experienced the early death of a parent, or just something that broke that. And maybe we don't know as much about who we are as we wish we did. And so this conference is really, it's not so much about going in and filling in random names and dates on a pedigree chart, but really it's about discovery. And I think that that is a universal thing, because it's not something that's just unique to us that live here, but it's really across the globe. In all cultures you see this connection to the past. I mean, I used to live in the Orient, and they really revere their ancestors, and so it's a human thing, I think. And I think it, like Colin mentioned, that it's something, I think, that helps define who we are. When we know who we come from and where we come from, it just fills in a piece on the inside. And so this will be about discovery, this conference. And so that's where I think the census can do a lot of good. And because we can go in, and sometimes I think people can be intimidated by it because it's these big long documents with all this stuff all over them. And so what I'm going to do is go in and show people how to find something that might be missing. So we will go over, maybe you just have this tiny piece of information of, I know who my grandparents were, but I didn't know beyond this, I only have a first name. And so that's the exact scenario we're going to go over. And it's all right there, because the census just has this vast amount of information, but it's not just information. It holds family secrets. It holds memories that I think were lost as these older generations begin to die off. Something that was common knowledge in families it's beginning to get lost, but really it's there. We just have to go get it.
I remember when I first saw my family members on the census in 1870, and I knew as far back as my great-grandfather, but when I found my great-great-grandfather, I'm sitting at the microfilm and I'm just looking, and tears are flowing, because now I know his name, I know his wife, and it's just a sense of knowing that is so rich that you can't explain it.
Well, I tell you, one of the most emotional moments for me was seeing from one year to the next, and when I noticed that the baby was no longer there.
Yes.
I'm like, oh no,
Yes.
the child died.
Yes.
And it was just heartbreaking.
It does.
But the census records, they they're more than just names and dates. It really begins to uncover the stories
Yes.
of your ancestors' lives, and that's what I love about the census records. I get in there and I just tear it up, literally go through each one of those columns, because each one of those columns it's like an onion.
Yes.
It begins to like
The layers,
peel
yeah.
back the layers of
Exactly.
the stories of your ancestors' lives.
Yes, it does. So that's going to be a class that, again, is at this conference. And so that class is going to be taught at 10 a.m.
Okay.
So if you get a little bit late, you can still make out. I mean, the conference, of course, registration begins at 8, but that class will begin at 10, along with some others.
And the second class?
The second class, I think, is the one you're excited about. The second class, I've called it Capturing and Preserving Memories with Our Personal Devices. And so I find, this has happened to me, I think it's probably happened to everybody. You know, you go to a grandparent's house or a cousin, aunt, uncle, somebody, and they have these photo albums. And you start looking through them, and you see people you know, you see people you don't know, or maybe you do know everybody, but you don't know why some of those pictures were taken or what was going on or how old they were. And so you start asking, and then you realize that the last person who had the information has passed away. And what a tragedy.
Yeah.
What a tragedy. And so because that's happened to me, I know how that feels. Sometimes I inherit these shoe boxes or these envelopes of photos, and they're really neat, but I don't know who's in them. And so this is going to be a very unique class, because this is a new app that is available, and it's called Legacy Stories, and so if somebody wants to pre-download Legacy Stories, Family Search, Ancestry, those all work in conjunction with each other. So before they come, if they'd like to take this class, they can bring some kind of photo or something that they want archived, and then also you can, if you need help downloading the app, that's fine, we'll just do it in class too. But what we'll do is we'll show people how to take a picture of it using either a phone or a tablet or whatever, something that has a camera. And
It's like I want to grab my phone and say, Legacy
Exactly,
Stories. You
exactly.
Just download this right now.
So what we can
Exactly.
do is we'll take this photo, and then the new thing is that you can add audio. You can add a narration to
that's
the photo.
wonderful.
And so you can add up to a 3-minute audio. So that's great if
That's a lot of time,
if we
3
go
minutes.
visit a grandparent, or we are the grandparent, or whatever. I know, like I was at my husband's house, or not his house, but his parents' house one time, and there's this photo, and the same thing with the eyes. I never look at eyes, but this photo, I was like, that's my daughter's eyes on a man that I don't know. And it turned out it was my mother-in-law's
Oh, my
brother
goodness.
who had died, and
Yeah.
I knew of him, but I didn't know him, and I didn't know that's what he looked like. But
You
he's hanging on the wall.
downloaded Can we pull up some of the photographs that I found? And
Oh,
that's why I want to take this class, because I just finished working on publishing a book called Images of America. And it is of people in St. Helena and Tangipahoa. Hall. This was one of the classes of 1940, I think it was 1946, and I've been going around, driving around to the elderly people homes in the parishes, and they've been pulling out those shoe boxes
Yes, yes.
full of photographs. And whether I know them or not,
Perfect,
I
yes.
still recorded and scanned those pictures. Can we just keep them coming, please? And its
that
photographs are
beautiful picture.
beautiful,
She's beautiful.
isn't she? And I learned that is Glennis Gordon's mother, who was a teacher. So I have, this class is very
a gorgeous
important to me
photo.
because I just finished a book, and it's going to be published in December of this year.
Wow.
And this, I found this photograph of Karen's great uncle.
Is that Shelton?
That's Shelton.
Burrell the third?
Well, that's the junior, and
Junior?
that is the second in that, the baby.
So the third.
third.
Is
That's
the
the-
baby.
the third is the baby, yes.
So I have a question. Are any of these people still living?
No, they are not.
Oh, wow.
None of them.
None of
And so
them.
is that?
That's his
Ugosha?
wife. Yes.
Oh, so that's Renata's.
Yeah. And I just, and some
Oh,
my
that's
cousin,
her
another mutual
grandmother.
cousin had these photographs. These photographs has been in the family for 5 generations. Thanks to this woman, my Aunt Ella, great Aunt Ella, made sure that everybody sent her photographs. Everybody. So when she passed away, her adopted daughter received them. When she passed away, my uncle cleaned the house out. He kept the photographs. When he passed away, his daughter got them, and now she's sharing them with me.
Wow. So
That
does she
is
write on
wonderful.
the back of them? Is that how
Some
you
of
got
them
it?
had, I was able to identify some of them because of my mother. My mother always kept the
okay,
oral
okay.
history. And this one particular
Wow.
photograph, this guy wanted my grandfather to have his photograph, and he wrote on there 3 times, "This picture is for Buster Harrell."
That's for
This
World
picture,
War.
yes, is for Buster Harrell. And it was so amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
It is. So I am just grateful for these photographs.
Well,
That's what I wish we had this technology then, so that because the interesting thing is if the
Can we
person
pull that one back up? That's my dad. I found her father and her aunt in that collection.
Chunky legs.
And I surprised Karen. I think Karen was in Utah. She was in Utah.
You went to the BYU Tech?
I went to the Family History Center in Utah. I went to Roots Tech.
That's what I was
And I spent a week with the Ancestor Seekers.
How was it?
Oh, it was amazing. I can't wait to go back.
And I sent her that photograph while she was there. I'm like, here, this is it. This completed.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
And I put together this
Don't
word
cry.
art that we can pull up, and this I think it has all the words, all the words, and that means so much to me because it's like you're taking this magnifying glass. You think you're just looking. That's my grandfather. I gotta stop. That's my grandfather and his oldest child.
That's
So this is
Jasper?
back. Yeah, this is back in 30. She was born in 34.
That's
32.
your aunt.
Yeah, so this is 1933.
Wow.
Look how short those sleeve that his suit is, right?
Wow.
So all these pictures that I have is part of that Images of America.
Who are those beautiful ladies?
The lady in the middle from the right, the third, is Juanita Harrell. That's Edgar's daughter.
Oh, wow.
So I found I am just rich in photographs.
Look how elegant they look.
Yes.
They're all dressed up going somewhere.
Yeah. And so,
look
I
at
forgot I
that.
had
I
this
love
one.
military photos.
Yeah, this is Edgar's son, the man on the far left. And just to know that she had all these photographs in her
Those are
collection
great.
and that they didn't throw them away.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because people don't know, especially when the younger people clean out the house.
Yeah, they
If
don't
someone
know.
passed away, Jennifer, you know what they do.
Yes, they throw it away.
Yeah.
You don't know who it is. Why keep
I
it?
know
Yes.
my mom had a big suitcase full of photographs, and I cleaned her house out when she died. They were not there.
Oh.
I don't know where they got lost along the way, but I know when we were growing up, every now and then she would take them out and we would go through. Oh, there's the word.
This is the
That-
word.
that's it.
I love creating this type of word art. And as you can see, we're
love
looking for
that.
records, we're looking for whatever. And so I wanted the silhouette because it's like we're looking into the past and it's there. So that is filled with all types of records that you can find when you research.
School records, marriage records,
Yeah, all of them.
military records. I love it.
And so we shake that family tree.
Yeah.
There's all types of nuts that can come off the tree,
I love
walnuts,
that
pecan,
one. I love that one.
that. So I just spend my nights creating things.
But don't you find that family history is a community effort and
Oh,
it brings so
yes.
much perspective?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I do it every single day. I do genealogy every
It's
single
relaxing.
day. It really is.
It is.
It's more than just a hobby. It really is. It's better than TV. It really is better than TV.
Can't compare.
Yeah, you cannot compare.
You cannot compare.
Well, you know what I love about the class that Jennifer's going to teaching on legacy stories is my mother is a laryngectomy and she is still alive. And what I wouldn't give to have her recorded voice.
Oh,
Yes.
So, you know, we need to take advantage of the technology that we have been so blessed with and use it. And it's so easy. And for those that have difficulty, we have wonderful instructors like Jennifer Ette coming up Saturday.
I'm
And
excited.
I'm very excited. So
I received an email from Jennifer saying, make sure you download. Yes, I will do that because I want that class. There's free dough prizes that you all, tell us about that.
Oh my goodness, Ancestry has donated 2 free DNA kits. My Heritage has donated 2 free DNA kits. We have a 1-year MyHeritage membership, and I'm not even going to say the value of it because I don't want people fighting over it. We have a year membership we have 3 1-year memberships for Ancestry.com.
That's wonderful.
And then we have a couple of annual subscriptions to Fold 3. It's a newspaper subscription. And newspaper.com by Ancestry. We have 2 of those.
That's wonderful.
So, but you have to be present, stay till the end, and receive your door prizes because
And this is free. We
It's-
have to
Everything's
just
free.
everything is
please
free.
come out and like.
Bring somebody, bring your children, bring your grandmother, bring your parents,
Oh, especially.
and do it as a family event.
It is a family event. Now, I would encourage everyone to bring a lunch.
Yes.
We will have a few little snacks, but some people like to have lunch every day, so bring your lunch and take a break to enjoy that and just visit with one another.
And registration begins at 8 o'clock if anyone hasn't registered online, right?
That's correct. But
And where
Or
can
if
they
they
register
have, if they have
online?
registered, then we go and you pick up your packets
Yeah.
and different things that
Yeah.
you would need.
pick up
Wonderful.
the information that we'll give you. We'll have a map of the building so everyone will know where their classes will be given, where they will need to go to take their class.
Well, give us that website again to register online.
Okay, it's www.BatonRougeFamilyHistoryConference.com.
And that will be in Baton Rouge, so please, this is a wonderful time to come out and learn so much about the family history. And you never know, somebody may be there that have photographs of family history that you may not, you may end up meeting one of your own
That's
relatives.
what I was going to say. You probably will meet one of your cousins.
And Dr. Harrell, we would again just like to thank you so much for having us on and for being a participant of our conference. I'm sure
And
you're
we
going
thank
to
you.
bring
We
in
are
a
so excited. I was
tremendous
just
crowd.
telling Jennifer, I'm still working on my PowerPoint. She said, I'm still getting things, we'll do that to the last minute.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you all for coming on and being
Thank
a part
you.
of Nurturing Our Roots. And if there's ever any news that you want to share in the future, please come back.
We will do that.
Yeah, because we're all in this together.
We
Researchers.
are.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're quite
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you
Thank
for being on Nurturing Our Roots.
We've enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. We're going to go into a break and come back, and Karen will have some information to share with you about what she has been doing, and I will share some information too.
Are you ready to discover your family history? It is rewarding to know your family history. Knowing your roots can help you discover who you are and where you fit in. Many people discover important information about their family history, gathering more detailed information on generations that came before you, compiling personal stories, photographs, and documents, and meeting new family members. Discover military records, birth records, death records, vital records, land deeds, marriage records, obituaries, and other genealogical records while researching your family history. Have you thought about researching your family history and don't know where to start? Join us right here on Nurturing Our Roots for a journey of a lifetime researching your family history. Explore your unique and rich family history right here with us on Nurturing Our Roots, the live talk show where family matters, where the past meets the present and the present meets the future, with host Antoinette Harrell. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome back to the show. Let me just give a shout out to happy birthday to my granddaughter Joelle, to my grandson Carter, and to my colleague and friend Walter C. Black. Happy birthday, and I hope that you all enjoy your Earth Day, especially, you know, it's a wonderful time. And thank you, Joelle, Connor, Chase, and I know their birthdays are coming up, in Carter and Walter, for all that you do to support the work that is being done. Well, I want to tell you all about something I've been working on. I know that we haven't been in the studio. You were so busy, Karen, and so was I. But I have published this book called The Images of America, African Americans in St. Helena and Tangipahoa Whole Parish. The book has over 214 images and a text about each image. So I drove throughout Tangipahoa Whole Parish, from the south to the north, and St. Helena, collecting photographs, scanning photographs, as well as collecting some of the text in these for the images. Karen and I have met people who was involved in the civil rights movement. I learned just recently from a lady that's 82 years old, her name is Tat Spears, that Julian Bond and Andrew Young attend her mother's funeral in St. Helena. So
This is just wonderful, and so people will be able to learn about St. Helena and Tangipahoa through the pictures and stories of the lives of the citizens, of whom some are our family members.
That's right, and I just want to pull up some of the photographs to show people, once again, some of the images that I found in my cousin Montera, our mutual cousin's pictures, and your family was some of those people in those pictures, although she didn't recognize it, but I did. And I said, oh, Karen would love these photographs. So I just wanted to introduce, show you pictures of your father.
Wow.
And your aunt. So whenever he's ready, we'll pull them up. This was the AMIT Colored School.
Wow.
Class of 1946, and my auntie and one of our first cousins, my mom and them first cousin, your grandmother's first cousin, is in this picture.
I see photos like that, and I wonder how many people in there were actually related to
Well,
them.
you're related to the lady on the third student on the first row from the right, and on the third row from the left, the fourth girl is my aunt. The third girl is my aunt.
I bet you somebody else in there is a distant
Of course
cousin.
it is. Of course it is. We can go to the next photograph. And I can't think.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Glennis Gordon, Dr. Kinsley B. Garrison, Montera Harrell, Miss Gracie Walker, Edwin Temple, Earl, and Vera Wheeler for all the images that all of you have donated to make this book a success. And that's Glennis' mom, who
It's
was
such a beautiful photo.
I found letters that was written to her from the Southern Law Poverty Clinic. This woman was just one of those women that was active, bringing about a change for people of African descent in Tangipahoa. The next image, please. This is your family. Your great uncle and Shelton Jr. and Shelton III in this picture, and his wife.
Wow.
And that photograph is in mint. All the photographs that Montero had is in mint condition.
That is wonderful. It's so important to preserve the photos you have.
Right, right. Next one, and this is the woman. You know, Karen, Aunt Ella did not have any biological children, but everyone sent her a photograph. So on the back of your dad's picture, it says Marion's son Wesley and Selena.
Oh,
So that tells me that Aunt Marion cousin Marion had to send a picture to Aunt Ella. So now I'm writing and learning more about Aunt Ella due to the pictures. This picture is in very good mint condition. I saw a name on the back. I'm not really sure because it looked like he was addressing it to someone, but that someone made sure that my grandfather Jasper Buster Harrell got that picture. That's a very
nice picture.
yeah. The next one, please. And I think that
There he is.
yeah, there's your dad.
And Aunt Selena.
Look how
Look at that haircut.
yeah, look at those legs, huh?
I know.
Wow.
And you can tell he was always, that she kept him dressed neat.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, yeah. And this is my grandfather and their firstborn. So I know that she was born in 1932. So she may be one or two there.
Wow.
So that picture tells me 1932 to 1934. And that was my grandfather. It's not that many pictures we have of him, so I treasure the ones that I do find. All right, and this picture means a lot to me because how elegant and beautiful
Yes. Yeah.
those girls, and one of our family members is in that photograph. So that's what I've been doing for the last 6 months of my life. Now tell me what you're doing. I'm gonna
Well, yes, this photo, this poster is of the GU 272 Descendants Association reunion. Our theme was reconnecting our families and honoring our ancestors. 180 years from 1838 to 2018 marks June 19th, 1838.
Juneteenth, isn't it?
Yeah, ain't that something? But in 1838 marked the 180th anniversary of when the Articles of Agreement were signed that sold those 272 ancestors by the Jesuits of Georgetown University to two men here in Louisiana. And so we had a reunion of descendants of those 272 tenacious souls, those ancestors. And we had over 500 people
that's a
register for
lot.
our reunion. And in less than 2 months, we put this reunion together. We had people come from us. We had a cousin and her son come from as far away as Korea. We had 3 cousins come from Hawaii. We had cousins come from all over this country for this reunion. We had a bus tour that took people from Iberville Parish to Terrebonne to Ascension Parish, because those are the 3 parishes.
I was about to ask what was the connection.
The 3 parishes where the ancestors were enslaved on plantations. So we took them to those parishes. We visited the African American, River Road African American Museum.
With Kathy Hambrick.
With Kathy Hambrick. Kathy gave a very wonderful presentation in Donaldsonville. We visited the courthouse in Donaldsonville. In Terrebonne, we visited the Finding Our Roots African American Museum with Margie Scobie, and Margie and her team there put together a wonderful program. We also visited the Residence Plantation where there was a well-preserved slave cabin.
Oh, really?
Yes, and Wanda
Was there
Gadry.
records over there?
They didn't have records, but Wanda Gadry and her husband preserved that cabin, and they were wonderful, gracious hosts to tell us a little bit about the history, because this man on this picture, Frank Campbell, he was enslaved in Terrebonne Parish, and his brother Robert Campbell was actually, he worked on that plantation, and that was the significance of going there. And we passed by a church in New Zion Baptist Church in Terrebonne and Houma, where Watt Campbell, his name is engraved on the cornerstone of that church.
Of the church.
And
Now, did he have other brothers and sisters that you found? So we know of two, right? Watt Campbell and Robert, did you say?
Robert Campbell, and there are many Campbell ancestors in
Okay.
Terrebonne Parish. And then in Iberville Parish, or Iberville as we say in New Orleans, we went to a cemetery there where we were able to see some of the ancestors' grave sites. And then there's a school on West Oak Lane. It was the West Oak Plantation where many of the ancestors were enslaved. So going to those three parishes and then going down that
Those
river
are
road,
great.
people were able to see the sugar cane and see the very fields where ancestors had to chop that sugar cane. So we call that the ancestral tour. And people were able to really get a feel, because it was hot, get a feel for what our ancestors had to go through. And then the next day is when we had the reunion, where many different cousins were telling the history of what our ancestors.
Was it a 3-day event or
Well,
weekend?
actually, it really was. It started out being just a one-day event, but when we knew people were coming from all over, we wanted to give them more to experience. So on that Sunday, some folks went to a church service at Immaculate Heart of Mary in Maringouin, Louisiana, and others, people had a choice of what it was they wanted to do. Some people visited the Whitney Plantation because people wanted to know more about what the experiences were that their ancestors went through. And so we were able to work with the Whitney Plantation and set up some special tours for some of the cousins to go on. And to have that many cousins come together, and of course many of them were meeting their cousins for the first time. It was a truly special event. We had T-shirts made. Here's our T-shirt. And I just wanted to show you on
Some
the
of the
back.
names, yeah.
And our theme is reconnecting our families and honoring our ancestors. And we have all of the surnames. We always tell people, you can, if you really want to find
So
out.
that's all the surnames that was involved?
Yeah, there are 40 surnames. And if you really want to find out if you're a part of this, of course, you could go to our website at gu272.net. These surnames are listed on our website. And if you have history in Terrebonne, Ascension, or Iberville Parish, or if you know your family's roots are in Maryland, and you have one of these surnames that you find on our website, you may be a part of the GU272. We are constantly looking for our family, reconnecting our families.
I would like to see that for the Harrells, because you and I have been talking with, we just found that Robert's father was named Randall.
Yes.
So, and Randall's father, Randall had a brother named Thomas. So we really would like to do something like this for the Harrells,
Yes.
going back to Clinton, South Carolina, Darlington, South Carolina, as well as Amite County, Mississippi, St. Helena Parish, and Tangipahoa Parish, because this is where the Harrells come from.
Right, because we know the path they took to get here. And we also, because we both have done DNA, we have already began to connect to some of our cousins, and we know that some of them have scattered all over the place. And I think what we should do is maybe just even put together a little WordPress website so people will have a place to go and begin to see what some of the other extended surnames
Because
are.
the Iberville Parish, when you was talking about that, some of our Harrells
They
are there.
are there.
They are there.
We have some Harrells in Iberville Parish, and I keep wondering if they are connected to us.
Well, Robert had a brother named Thomas. So certainly because of his brother, that would certainly mean, and Primus, some of Primus' descendants are there.
And so I want to figure that mystery out.
Yeah, and I've been talking with this guy named Coleman, that I met on Ancestry, and he's a descendant of Thomas. And you and I talked to another lady from Arizona who is also a descendant of Primus.
Right, and at this reunion, there was a woman named Renee who has Harrell ancestry from Clinton.
That's not the lady we met online? Did we talk to her? Was her name Renee? What was this woman's name?
No, that was yet another cousin.
Wow.
Yes, so we absolutely have to begin to organize our cousins that we're meeting through various methods.
Now that our schedule, and I'm not putting anything else on my schedule because between now and the time that we get ready to shoot for the movie, the Pennish research, I want to finish working on the Harrells now that I have gotten some new leads because of DNA.
And it was Harrell that brought us together.
Exactly.
And it's like it's now coming full circle.
And Robert is saying, go a little bit further. Go a little bit further. There's more that you need to know. And because of Ancestry, because of DNA, we now know that Robert's father was named Randall. We didn't. When I started off doing the research, Karen, that information wasn't in the book.
And I tell you, I've been lazy when it comes to the Harrells. I just figured Antoinette did it all. I don't need to do anything.
I need you because you really specialize with the DNA connection, and I'm the one that go out and look at the records that we can find. We still have to get Stephen Harrell.
Look, I was just thinking about that.
You was just thinking about Stephen? Stephen,
Harrell,
you hear us talking to you.
And your dad, and I'm gonna say Al Harrell in Baton Rouge, you too. I need some DNA.
That's right, because that's just too close to say that we're not.
And right, we're connected. Our families are connected. Even I feel it. I feel like we're cousins.
Yeah.
And so we're cousins no matter what.
And you know the fact that when we took the trip to Clinton,
that's right.
All of us, it was 3 of us. That was amazing.
Yes, I don't even know if we've ever put that picture up.
No, right.
On a future show.
On a future show, we do the Harrells because I have to make focus on where I come from. Everybody else's family is just as important, but I definitely need to just stay focused on finishing that off.
Yes, because you did the book. What year did you do that book?
Oh, this was like 1999.
Okay, so you did the book, and maybe it's time. You say you're not going to put anything else on your plate, but maybe it's time to update that book.
Yes, it is time. Well, that when I say nothing else on my plate, I mean nothing else on the outside.
Okay.
But when it come down to the Harrell side, sure, it's time for that to be.
It's time to update because I'm not in that book.
Yes, so you'll be in this book, and in more ways than one now.
Yes.
Because how we connected is a story in itself.
Yes.
And what we have learned about our family being connected, and bringing in those people who we're just learning about.
Yes, and DNA has changed it. We are now able to connect to the folks in Arizona, as you were talking about, and
California.
And they're everywhere. Clinton.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of people calling me from Clinton now
because we know our people were there.
Yeah.
And
they're waiting for us to find them.
They are. And we got to remember, some of them call themselves Harold.
That's okay.
Harold. That's
and
all
still
right.
do.
They're still right. They're Harold. We say Harrell, but we're all connected.
Same. Whether we spell it Harrall, Harold,
Harril.
Yeah. Right.
We're all connected.
Right. And the different spellings of the names should not omit the fact that we can be related.
Right. And that's something, I know with this conference coming up, Jennifer was saying that she's focusing also on the census records. People should not discount that's their relative when they see the name misspelled on the census record. Census records are notorious for misspelling names. It could still be your relative, and the name could be horribly mangled.
Exactly.
And the important thing is to look at who else is in that family and the location. It's probably your family.
Like our Alec Harrell, Alexandra, they spelled his name A-L-E-C-K. And then sometimes they spell it A-L-E-C. But I was looking at John, I was looking at Priscilla, I was looking at Dinah or Derska,
Yes.
or Dinah, because they say both. So when we're writing, we actually have to put in there so that, add those other names too, because if someone that's new to genealogy, they'll say, oh no, that's not them, because that's not the way they spell their name. So thank you
Absolutely.
for pointing that out, because that was a good point out.
Oh yes, because people could make mistakes by not recognizing that names are going to be misspelled. It happens so often that you just have to accept that as common.
And we also want to note that the Latter-day Saints has the largest database in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, in the world.
It is an amazing resource, and it's so much of it is online. You don't actually have to go to Utah
Right.
to have access to it, and they have these family history centers everywhere. There's one in Metairie. I don't know if people even know that.
Right.
There's one
If
in
you're
Baton
not
Rouge,
researching, you probably wouldn't know.
and they're very helpful.
Yes.
They're very helpful.
Very friendly too.
Very friendly, because they want you to find your family.
Right. So I just want to congratulate you on all that you have done during the time that we wasn't on the show. Both of us was so busy. It felt like we both was doing something that was giving birth at the same time, because
Yes.
your project was 6 months. You was working on it.
No, I wish it was.
I had 6 months.
2 months.
Oh,
2
yeah.
months.
6 months. But my 6 months,
Yes.
I wish I would have had just a little bit more window, but I had deadlines, and because it was a contract, and I had to really meet that
And
contract.
congratulations to
thank
you as well.
Thank you. To see our family pictures in that book as well.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and once again, congratulations on everything that you do. We
thank
look
you.
forward to coming back next month to bring in some more research, and who knows what we're talking about on the show. And if you're doing family history or have done your family history research and would like to come on Nurturing Our Roots to share it, we'll be happy to have someone as a
Absolutely.
guest to come on and talk about family research. Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else you want to close out with?
No, just keep researching and nurturing your roots.
That's right. Our ancestors want us to find them.
Yes.
They have a story to tell.
Yes,
If we
and
just
they want
listen.
us to tell their stories.
Right. Because it's our story. Their story is our story.
That's right. And our stories are their stories.
Like I said, our ancestors left footprints.
Yeah.
We just need to follow them.
Yes.
Follow them.
And once you start doing it, they'll start giving you little